region. Now that's my focus for today. In developing the Niger Delta region, he said the budget, which amounted to 876 billion naira, would enable the NDDC to continue providing critical infrastructure and services to the region's people. Now, let's quote him. We are grateful to the Senate for its support and commitment to developing the Niger Delta region. The passage of the budget will enable us to continue providing critical infrastructure and services to the region's people. He went ahead to say, we are committed to ensuring that every kobo allocated in this budget is used for its intended purpose. We will work tirelessly to ensure that our projects are completed on time and to the highest standards. Now, I will get to the point and explain to you why the Senate asked for the 2021-2022 budget. But first, I'd like you to recall that a certain time, the NDDC was in the midst of the storm. Or is it in the eye of the storm? And everybody was talking about it. Governor Wike, the other 8 Niger Delta governors, the National Assembly, the ministers in Buhari's cabinet. And then a forensic audit started. And for 2 years or thereabouts, the NDDC's budget could not be passed because, 1, the forensic audit was on. 2, due to the forensic audit, NDDC did not have board members. So, for about 2-3 years, the NDDC had interim administrators, several of them. And of course, you remember the off-your-mic situation. Of course, if I don't mention that, I'm wondering what I'm doing here. And after the forensic audits, the verdict was that in the over 20 years of existence, the commission's existence, the billions of naira that have been allocated were indicted, even though we never got to see, the names and the list, and we talked about it as well, and we asked that it be made public. But sometime in 2021, if I recall vividly, December, the president came out and said that he will ensure that everyone responsible for the corruption in the NDDC will face the wrath of the law, will be brought to book. In 2022, media, the president speaking at the time said that he had begun the implementation of the forensic audit report. Towards the end of 2022, before the National Assembly, he presented the NDDC 2021 budgets and 2022 budgets. And so the Vanguard puts it this way. Of course, it was published on May 5, 2023. NDDC to spend 2.28 trillion naira, 3 years consolidated budget. And a quick read, Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC will spend 2.28 trillion naira for its capital and recurrent expenditures. Now, the expenditures are, however, subsumed in 3 consolidated financial years of 2021, 2022, and 2023. Recall that the National Assembly without the budget of the Commission for 3 years due to the absence of a governing board to make high-profile financial approvals. But in January this year, the federal government inaugurated Governing Council with Loretta Onoche as its chairman and Samuel Ogbuku as managing director. Appearing before a session of the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC for Budget Presentation and Defense, Ogboko outlined the details of the budget, saying 485.7 billion naira was proposed for the commission in 2021, 928.2 billion naira in 2022, and 876 billion. The managing director, who said the consolidated bill was tagged Budget of Rewind to Rebirth, would be largely funded by revenue brought forward, federal government contribution, unpaid arrears, and recoveries by Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Ecological Fund, all companies' contribution, amongst others. So, even though we didn't hear much from the Senate concerning the 2021-2022 budget, there is the likelihood that Christmas has come early for the Niger Delta in the form of a 2.28 trillion naira budget. NDDC. Now, someone saying something today, and the person said that the Senate approving does not necessarily mean the money has now been given to the NDDC. But hopefully, since the money has been budgeted, there is the possibility, there is the 70 to 90% possibility that the money will get to the NDDC. For many years, especially through the period of forensic auditing, a lot of people, or I wouldn't use the word a lot, some people said that the commission should be scrapped. Some people said, if they have received billions of naira and the Niger Delta is looking the way it is looking, then it means that, they are not needed. However, some people said the commission should go through restructuring, and it looks like the current administration has done that and repositioned the commission. Now, emphasis on it looks like. We cannot really tell, but we do know that the commission has started receiving budgets. We also do know that the president at one time said that they are already implementing the resolutions from the forensic audit reports. So the question I want to ask, as Niger Deltans, as people doing business in the Niger Delta, do you think that this will ignite your hope? This will be the beginning of the kind of development we are looking for in the Niger Delta, which in the past years has resulted into some kind of advocacy. I'm looking for the word, it just skipped my head. A lot of words are skipping my head today, I do not know why. But does this ignite hope in you? Does this give you that feeling that finally the Niger Delta would get what it deserves? Or do you see the NDDC being business as usual? Now, this question I've asked now, brings me to the article on The Guardian, which is captioned, okay, I do not know what's up with the network today, but I think it is captioned Senate passes 876 billion naira NDDC budget. And the Guardian article, oh my goodness. Okay. I was going to give you a breakdown of the 2023 budget for the NDDC, but my network is slow. So once I'm able to get back online, I will reel them out for you. Commercial break is coming up shortly. But I'll start reading out the phone numbers so you can start getting ready to contribute. With what you have heard about the NDDC, the monies that have been budgeted. Remember, they have not been given, but they have been budgeted. And this time, we might just get 3 in 1 as allocation for the development of the Niger Delta. Do you see things changing in terms of development, in terms of human capacity growth, in terms of the various sectors? We just talked about education. Do you see that improving? The health sector, the infrastructures? Because remember, the NDDC was set up as an interventionist agency to intervene, help the state governments in the development of the region. I mean, we up until recently, where oil is now being found in other places, the Niger Delta, and even up to now, I should say, the Niger Delta produces a large chunk of the revenue that we do enjoy in the country. Do we even enjoy it? That's a conversation for another day. But then again, what do you make of it? Does this ignite hope in you? 0817-923-0002 is the number, and 0817-923-0003 is the other number. WhatsApp 0809-0306416. On Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. On Twitter, Nigeria Info PH. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, I'll take your calls.
Are you tired of paying rent? Would you like to own a house of your own? Stress no further, because with just 5 million naira, you can become a proud owner of a
The headline news is up next, so just give me a minute or two as I bring you the headline news.
Headline News, Nigeria Info on
92.3.
Headline News.
But my network is up and running, so I'm going to read out the statistics I wanted to read out earlier. And this one says that out of the 876 billion for the Niger Delta Development Commission, 451 million has been set aside for aids of 12 board members of the commission. Now, this is the Guardian reporting. If you go to the Guardian, you will see this report. Now, aside the 451 million, 576 million was earmarked for running of the office of the chairman of the commission, Loretta Onochie. Now, the breakdown of this amount indicated that personnel costs would gob 156 million naira, 312 million naira, and 156 million for overhead, 312 million, and internal capital for 108 million. For the managing director's office, 546.60 million was approved for personnel costs, 747.50 million was approved for overhead, and 163.50 million naira for internal capital. Now, others are Executive Director, Finance and Administration Office, whose personnel cost was put at 133.34 million naira, overhead for 457.47 million naira, and 163.50 million naira for internal capital. The Corporate Affairs Department of the Commission also got 1.061 billion naira, out of which 431.08 million naira is for personnel cost, 845.57 million naira for overhead, and 63.09 million naira for internal audit. In the overall budget of the Commission, personnel expenditure gobs 34.2 billion naira. Overhead expenditure will gob 17 billion naira. Internal capital expenditure takes 3.7 billion naira, while development projects will gob 490 billion naira. And of course, the federal government intervention in the Niger Delta, 330 billion naira. I already talked about where the revenue therefore financing the budget will come from. Right. So that being said, looking at the data before you, I've reeled out the various places where the money will be going into: personnel cost, internal capital expenditure, overhead costs. Now that you've seen, or you've heard, does this ignite hope in you that finally the NDDC will help the various state governments, the 9 state governments, bring the kind of development that we have always dreamt about in the region? And finally, things like illegal refining will be reduced to its barest minimum, because the young boys will be engaged in productive activities. Finally, insecurity will reduce in the Niger Delta, because investments will come as the region develops to the standard it's supposed to develop to. A lot of the vices, cultism and the likes, will reduce to the barest minimum, because development reduces vices, socioeconomic vices. That's what I think, by the way. But I want to hear what you think. 0817 923 0002. First number to call. 0817 923 0003. Second number to call. For WhatsApp and text message, use this number: 0809 0306416. We're live on Facebook, and you can go there and drop your comments. Nigeria Info PH is the handle, and we're also on Twitter, Nigeria Info PH. So let's start the conversation. What are you thinking? What do you make of the situation? Braid is calling me from Eliozu. All right, let's listen to Braid now. Hello.
Yeah, Talada, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Yes, my name is Chief Comrade I am Braid.
Welcome.
Talada, this amount that you have just rolled out, for me, it doesn't give me hope. I don't have hope that the NDDC can do any different meaningful project. Canada, let me bring you close here to River State where I reside. Now, if you look at Abonma Walk, that is an unpadded project, which is NDDC. Look at the landing jetty. It was then unpadded that kept that place in this form. Up till now, let me say about 20-something years ago, what has happened to that project? Let me also take you to Buguma, where I come from. That is the immediate one I can bring to your notice. The Buguma shore protection is being awarded by unpadded, then unpadded, now NDDC. Up to today, that project is still in comatose.
Braid, let me play the devil's advocate. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, the NDDC has not had its budget looked at in about 3 years, so that's why we have in 2021, 2022, and now 2023. So maybe they have not been able to function because they have not had the budget. So now that they have had this approval, don't you think that it will, help the processes, the various projects, the development of the Niger Delta?
Kalanda, I will tell you the truth, and I'm telling you my mind. The people that have been leading the Niger Delta development, they are not strangers. It's the same Niger Delta indigenes. But as I tell you, that 300 and something billion for federal government project and about 400 point something billion. That is, yes, capital project for NDDC. My dear brother, let's keep our fingers across. I and you will live to see what happens to this budgeted figure.
All right.
At the end of this year, I will still call you and remind you, Canada.
All right, thank you.
Nothing will come out of it.
All right,
this money will be shared among the
thank you, Braid.
And they will pocket it. They will go and build skyscrapers in Western world.
Thank you, Braid. Good luck from Anthony is calling in. Good luck. Welcome.
Good luck. Canada, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
This 876 trillion or billion awarded to NDDC. According to your question, if this will give us hope of development, my brother, well, let me not totally doubt, but with reference to about 20 years ago, which this commission has been established till date, if I should make this reference to my own community in particular, I don't think I have that assurance. Because I wonder how long it's going to take them to make this Niger Delta region the dream we think it should look like. Because these people are just coming in now. We don't really know what they have in mind. If they are really here to develop the Niger Delta region, or if they are here to develop themselves and their born generations, because that appears to be the system we are having in this part of the nation. So
you don't believe you don't think that the NDDC now has the capacity to tackle issues like flooding, for instance, help community secondary schools in the rural communities, to be standardized. Are you saying you're not seeing that happening? But let's talk to Henry, who's calling from Impolu in Rumigbo.
Yes, Canada, good evening once again.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Yes, on your question, if one has hope, based on the approval, which the Ninth Assembly have approved for NDDC, the budget and all the rest. My brother, I must be sincere to you, I don't see anything different compared to what has been happening to NDDC before this time. Canada, if you have had the opportunity of having access to NDDC, when you go there, you will see a lot of drama that's playing in NDDC. Until we leave the godfatherism that plays in NDDC, that is when we begin to get it right. And secondly, Canada, maybe a 1 kilometer or half a kilometer job. Then when you go ahead to borrow money and try to manage and finish the project, before you get your money back, they will start giving you a condition for you to sacrifice 30 and 20% and all those things.
Are you a contractor?
Canada, I have had the opportunity of working in NDDC.
Okay.
Maybe I will not mention the person's name I've worked with, but what I'm telling you is the reality. Sometimes when we say it looks as if it's a speculation, but this is what is happening in NDDC. Contractors find it difficult to get their money. That's why when you go to the jobs which they are finding, they also find it difficult to deliver the jobs, because after you borrowed money to do those jobs, getting your money back becomes a problem. They will start giving you a condition, and at the end, you don't have any choice. You will sacrifice those things. Now, until we begin to get these things right, my brother Kalada, yes, NDDC has the capacity to change the entire land map of Niger Delta. But do we have the commitment to do this thing? The answer is no. Because they believe that once they are being given the opportunity to head that agency, they use it to settle their family, settle their friends, and settle their loved ones. Until we begin to get this thing and know that this is the area where our unborn children are supposed to benefit from, we should look at the future, not the present things we are seeing today. So I want to say, Canada, I want to wish this management well. That God should touch them to look at the suffering, the yearnings of the people of Niger Delta, the people in the rural areas, what they are passing through.
All right.
And see how they can impact change.
All right,
but if you ask me, until they turn their back and understand that I have to help my people and release my people from the suffer they are into, we'll begin to get it right.
All right.
That is just my
thank you very much, Henry from Omigbo. I have Muriel calling from Okrika. Muriel, good evening to you.
Canada, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome. Let's talk.
Oh, Canada, I've wasted more than 7 minutes.
It's not up to. I can see it. It's on my screen.
No, the first one was 6, and now 4 minutes.
Okay.
You know, the trash card don't come easy. Thank you, Canada. You see, instead of stirring hope in me, in fact, it breaks my heart the more. If they like, let them give NDDC the old budget of Nigeria. It will continue to be a cash cow for politicians and their cronies. You see, Calabar, until they change the leadership, how to appoint or pick the heads of the NDDC, will continue to suffer this. The NDDC has become one of the most unfortunate things that has happened to the Niger Delta.
So can I ask you a question? What's wrong with the leadership? I hope you're not mistaking the board members for the executive members.
Calabar is not even the board members. The head of the NDDC is appointed by the president, is it not? Now, the president will give that position to whomever he loves. He does not look at competence. He does not look at track record.
Muriel, I'll ask you this question. So I'm surprised you're saying it. How do you know that the president doesn't look at all of these things? Are you a part of the cabinet? Are you a member of the cabinet?
Canada, we've heard of corruption and misappropriation. Those people he is giving, some of them have held political offices, and they have been fingered of 1 or 2 corruption charges, even though none of them have been indicted. And now this should not be, Canada. If the president really has the good of the Niger Delta people at heart, he should look for competent people that will handle these agencies. In fact, for me, Canada, I think the money should be given directly to local governments. The NDDC money, that is the money that I think should go directly to the local government.
No, Muriel, let me put a fact to you now. Niger Delta in this situation, I think it's 9 states belonging to or making up the NDDC, 9 states. And so when you say give to the local governments, how do you give all that money? How do you share to the various local governments in 9 states? For instance, Bayelsa does not have up to 10 local governments. Meanwhile, River State has got 23. And Delta State has got the number of local government Delta State has. So when you look at it from that angle, how do you share? So that's why you need NDDC, don't you think?
You share the money according to states. In fact, according to the level of contribution, according to the oil that comes from each state, you share it accordingly, get a ratio, share it accordingly. Then let those states share it according to the number of local governments they have.
Then.
Let this money go directly to the grassroots. Look at Okrika, for instance. Look at the roads in my community. Very tiny. Those roads have been there for ages. In fact, there are some parts in my community that the roads, they use just will I call it iron? Is it aluminium?
Right.
You just this iron. You just pass on. The roads are bad. This money should go directly. There's a bridge in my community that will link the Morocco axis to close to ATC. There is a bridge that was started by the former first lady. If this money comes directly to local government, Canada, all the local governments in the Niger Delta will change.
All right,
I know there will still be level of corruption yet, but Canada, this money should go directly to the local government.
Okay.
It will affect it. That is, it is going directly to
But you should forget. Thank you, Muriel. I've got to let you go, but you should also be reminded that the local governments usually have their own allocations. The state government usually would have their own allocations, and there's also the 13% derivation. So when you said it should be according to your oil producing value, what have they done with the ones they receive? I missed a call from Emmanuel, who was calling from Transamadi, but I'll take another call as it comes. But that's the truth. Think about it from that angle. If you say give it to the local government, what have they done? I mean, we argue every now and then that the local governments are tied to the state governors, not the state government, to the state governors, like a newborn baby tied to the mother. So when you look at it from that angle, Muriel, do you really think we should? Let's read some messages now. This one says, good evening, Kalada. The billions of naira that have been accruing to the NDDC since inception with little or nothing to show for it. The level of corruption in the governing board of the NDDC cries to the high heavens. NDDC has been a conduit pipe through which the resources accrued to the Niger Delta region was siphoned. NDDC signifies high level. Okay, you just keep going on and on. George from Mukrushi, thank you very much nonetheless. This one says, the federal government is free to approve any money for NDDC. The question here is, will the money be released? Not releasing peanut at the end of the day. You claim that you have released money for the NDDC. Promise Wachiku from Omagwa. That's another angle to the conversation. This one says, immediately NDDC board is appointed without political leanings. The aim of creation of the commission will be fulfilled. NDDC is a cash cow to the ruling political party. That's all. Emioka Monday, JP at Auda. Okay, all right. But I'm wondering why nobody has got hope that this might just be the beginning of development in the Niger Delta, the kind of development we've always dreamt of, that is. Because the federal government says it has repositioned the NDDC. Remember, when I was talking, I said the president, June 2022, said that he has begun the implementation of the resolution of the forensic audit of the commission. So think about it. Martin's calling from Agri Road. This will be the last call. Martin's welcome.
Yeah, my brother, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Yeah. Now, from the statistics you gave, the financial contribution to the entity, 60% already is for personnel cost and correct cost. That is a recurrent expenditure. Now, how do you think that the 20% can take care of the Niger Delta state in terms of project allocation and execution? It is not feasible again now. Already, the money, the lot of chunk of the money has already been used by officials. Again, the NGD staff, they bought most of the award contracts. The award contracts are most of to themselves. So how do you think when they are selling contracts to themselves and then subletting it to other people, how do you think this project will be executed? There is no feasibility that the subletted project will be executed completely because already part of the money for the job has been shared with the management and staff of the board. So you can see how the level of corruption is deep in the board. That is why you are seeing that most of the projects are unfortunately just done or uncompleted. Because until they said that the management, the board, many members, staff and members of the board should not be awarded contract. Yes, nothing will work out in that NDDC.
All right, then. Thank you very much for your time. Remember, we'll talk about this and all other conversations we've had for today when it's time for the open season, which will come after the news that will, the major news at 6, after the major news at 6. But someone is asking, good evening, Kalada. reposition, is it from Abab Road to Eastern Bypass? I mean, come on, Lady V. When we say reposition, you know what we're talking about. The federal government, through the office of the president, has said that it has repositioned the NDDC. Don't you think we should give them the benefit of a doubt? But then again, there's a new government coming in play. Will they implement the budget? Time for a quick commercial break.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned.
No panicking, the worry, they end today. This is the packaging, it cover you all the way.